What? Smoking all my dragons, divine, righteous, almighty, great, overachieving, never slacking. So I figured I'd react to some of this Ren interview. This is Ren and Rosalie, is it? And shout out to Rosalie Reacts. I'll probably break it down in some parts. Maybe I'll get like 7 to 10 minutes in real quick and really see the direction they're going. And well, hey, we'll have fun with it. So with that being said, this will be in my Ren playlist. Go ahead and binge watch that if you were new to the channel. Other than that, let's get to it. Here we go. This might be my first, is this my first Ren interview that I've reacted to? Definitely might be. So it's the first time for everything. Here we go.
Oh my goodness. Ren, my brother from another mother. You don't even know. I am so honored that you're here. Welcome.
Oh, it's my pleasure. No, it's nice.
I'm so humbled. I know you've done a few interviews lately. I know you're a busy man, so thank you so much for taking the time. I won't keep you too long. I know you.
That's cool. No, I'm fine to chat. This is my social life at the moment. I'm just like in clinic and I'm in Calgary, so it's fine. I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
Good. I'm happy to hear that. How is it going with the clinics, if I may ask? Is it you hanging in there? You okay?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm like, it's a lot of the same thing. So at the moment, the treatment's kind of like leveled out a little bit. So I go and I have my IVs every day, and I'll sit there for about an hour. There's two different IVs that I'm usually rotating between at the moment. One's glutathione, which helps you detox, and one's this phosphotylcholine or something. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. That helps you detox your body as well. This thing called lipid exchange, and then I'm also doing like I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it's trying to basically encourage parts of my brain to communicate. It's like it's like something. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but
It's crazy that Ren goes through all that and still is so consistent and active in his music because I'm sure that stuff is a headache, you know?
Yeah.
it's trying to help rebuild connections with my brain
Okay.
damage stuff.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
fascinating how far medicine has come. It's really fascinating.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you're able to access some help. I'm really thankful to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that you're here. I did prepare a few questions, but I'm going to do my best to not ask as much repetitive questions. I reviewed your interview with Knox Hill, for example. I have a lot of respect for that guy and how he approaches things. And I reviewed it a bit because I wanted to make sure I don't just ask you all the same questions. So it's like this, broken record. But of course, I want it to be an organic conversation. So whatever you feel you want to share, whatever you're comfortable with, or you want to ask me, we can just let the conversation flow and yeah,
Yeah.
Respect to Rosalie with the professionalism. Much love.
take it from there.
Don't feel nervous about asking me anything that's like
Okay.
I'm a bit of an open book, to be honest. I don't really mind digging
Okay.
into even the things that may feel uncomfortable, because obviously you're coming at it from a slight and the ones that I've said yes to of these as well, that it's usually the ones that I think will be the most interesting in terms of how different they are to the other
Yeah.
person.
Yeah,
Do you know what
yeah.
I mean? Because if there's a bunch of people coming at it from like a hip hop lyric breakdown,
Yep.
it's going to be it's a
Yep.
lot of the same sort of conversation. So yeah, it was one of the reasons I thought something like this would be really cool, because it's a different perspective and it's a different
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
For me,
Well,
that's cool.
it's funny you say that because that was actually going to be my first question. Be like, why did you agree to this? Because obviously, I'm sure many people would love to pick your brain and get some insight. And
Sure.
my channel is in the process of growing, but I'm nowhere near where some of these reactors are. So I was
For me,
very
yeah, but
humbled that you agreed to it.
Yeah, no, for me, it's never really about that, and it's never really about the benefit. For me, it's more about. It's the same with my music. So, well, we'll save
No,
this for
do
when
it,
we're
do
actually
it, do
doing
it. Tell me. This is good. I just want it to flow. How is it with your music? Like if it's
Well, no,
not
but
about
let's start it from the top, and then I'll
Okay.
start, and then because otherwise I'll feel really unnatural when I'm talking about it if I'm repeating
okay.
myself.
Oh, that's
If we
fine.
s-
No worries.
Yeah,
No
but
worries.
you can start from the top, and then we'll get into them.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I've been on this journey of exploring your music, as our listeners and viewers know. You've been doing this for a while now, and it's been taking off, and it's been really exciting to see. I am fairly new to your whole discography. It started for me with High Ren, and I was a mess because I didn't know who you were. I didn't know what to expect, and that's what I like to do. I don't like to do a bunch of research because I promise my viewers real talk, real reactions. I want to dive deep, and as you said yourself, I look at it more from a psychological standpoint. I have to tell people a lot of times I'm no official therapist. My master's is in counseling psychology. I worked as a therapist for a while, and then I transitioned to teaching. I'm a singer songwriter, so I come at it from that angle, not so much as to therapize or whatever that word is people, but just to take it apart, pull some encouragement. And when I saw High Ren, it was Hakuna Mashizzle, like I like to say. It was very much a very different experience musically, psychologically. It was very empowering and it spoke to me personally. And that's why I was able to respond the way I did, and people responded to that. Um, I can tell you're a person of substance. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to interview you and talk to you. How do you feel that everything, and you can go into as much detail as you feel comfortable with, how do you feel everything you've experienced in life, all your ups and downs, has impacted the way that you treat your art,
And my bad if you guys hear me blowing my nose. It's allergy season over here.
your skills, which is music, the rap, the songwriting? How do you feel that goes together? Your life experience and how you translate that into your art?
It's interesting because when I first started making music, there was still almost like this necessity to do it. I don't know what it was. I was just obsessed ever since I was very young. But then I suppose
Want a worry-free way to kill bugs? Ziva.
The ad caught us. It's all good though. But yeah, she definitely coming real professional. You know, me, I'm more like I got that New York in me. You know, I'm more. I wouldn't even say I'm a professional with it. You know, if I was interviewing somebody, it would just feel like a regular talk in the street for me. To be honest with you, that's just how I am. But she's doing an amazing job.
just breaking down a very big joint, burning into a small thing. When I came out on the tail end of going through a lot of my health problems and a lot of the things that I guess shaped me into writing about the things that I do, because I'd only have little windows and little pockets of times when I was able to create during the real thick of it. And even now, sometimes to a degree, there's you know, I get up and I'm just not, my body's not working properly. And so it becomes even more vital then, because it's like, I've got this window. And like, you know, as humans, we have a finite amount of time. And when I have these small pockets of window, it's really when I feel most in line with who I am and what I want to do when I'm creating. And even to the point where I think that was the most depressing thing about being sick, is I almost feel like impotent when I can't make.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
frustrated. Sometimes I've even felt pointless. And so when I was going through years of that, that was even more highlighted. So when I get these little bursts of like windows where I can make, it's like, it's almost like a necessity, like I have to do it.
You have to,
And
yeah.
I think that overrode everything. So before I got sick, I suppose, now I'm much more firmer in my ground as to my creative vision, and to when there's too many people coming in giving advice and I'm really clear on something, I think I stand a lot more firmly in that, because it's so much more valuable to me. And also I'm a lot less outcome dependent. It's really just like, I have to make it now that I've got this time that I can make it. And if I don't, I'm doing myself a disservice, because if I've got this little window and I waste it, then I'm stupid, because then when is the next window, you know? So I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah.
It's crazy. It's very powerful you say that, even how you phrase that short time that we have, because there's a psychotherapist called Dr. Yalom who focuses on a lot of existential therapy. And he also, in his book, Staring at the Sun, where he talks about dealing with death, he describes it as, and he was inspired by philosophers like Epicurus and those guys, he describes it as that little window we have that we're in the light, right? We have that phase before birth, that we don't know what's up, and then we don't know what comes after death. That's a matter of faith and, you know, your worldview. But there's this little snippet, if you will, like, I guess you could imagine it like a timeline where the light shines on it, and that's when we're alive. That little, I don't know,
Well,
maybe
that's
like
the
a
interesting
laser
thing.
beam, you know, that little gap.
Because I suppose time is relative, right? And our lives are relative. And the
Yes.
interesting thing about me is, within that window are then smaller windows.
Yeah,
Do you-
yeah,
so,
yeah, yeah.
So whereas for most people it's a window,
Right.
although you can take that window for granted,
Yes.
when you don't live within this paradigm of there being only these little pockets of moments that you can do stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that would be like my main bit of advice to anybody watching who's creative, who isn't limited by their own physical health.
Yeah.
Quickly, with them talking about them little windows, like I just watched Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which was one of my favorite movies as a child. And then I'm currently tonight I'm gonna finish watching the second one, and just when they went to when they accidentally went back into, I guess, this world from Narnia, they they spent so much time just wishing they was back in Narnia. You know, they wishing they was back in that world, and unexpectedly, they ended up back there when they were at a train station in part two. They ended up back there, and it's like I remember the girl saying when she was laying down, she said, when she was in Narnia, she said, I was just starting to get comfortable in England again before they ended up back in Narnia. And it's like, it kind of, to me, it's kind of similar to what they're saying about these little windows, and not having enough time. So basically, what I'm trying to say is no matter what the circumstance is, always take advantage of the moment. Always.
Yeah.
Is this window, it's still only a window,
Exactly.
and the only reason that my small burst of time is because they're relative to my life, whereas if you've got like an infinite, well, not infinite, but relative to how long you are, that big window, I
Right.
would just say, if I had the physical capacity to be able to like do it every day, I would do it
You would do
every
it.
day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Do you think it's
Yeah.
possible that because you have experienced that, I would call it, if you're comfortable with that, an existential crisis. I've even expressed in my review of Hiren, when we come face to face with death, with our mortality, with sickness, or our loved ones dying, like just realizing, wait a minute, my time is limited as we get older, right? We leave those childish ways of I'm forever young, right? We leave that behind. Would you say that it's possible that experiencing that even at a young age allows you to produce and create what you do in a more condensed way? Because to your point, people that live like your average life and don't have to deal with that, they think they have all the time in the world. So what they create is almost, dare I say, watered down sometimes. But when you come face to face with how finite you are and how small those pockets are, I wonder if what you create becomes more condensed and your quality increases. You know what I mean? Like when
It's,
you release a
yeah, no,
song, it's like
I
boom.
know what you're asking. It's a difficult question to answer because I've only got my own life experience to compare it to. Do you know what I mean? So like,
Touche.
I went
Ren is very intelligent. Very intelligent.
on this journey, and now where I am, like, I can't really say with confidence that if I hadn't gone through all these terrible things,
That's fair.
that I wouldn't still be just as productive because of, I don't know, genetics or what, or just like
Right.
this burning desire to do it. It's hard to know, really. Like, and anybody saying, "Oh yeah, it must be because you've gone through all this stuff that you can write like that." It's all kind of hypothetical, really, because there's not a
That's
Ren
true.
that exists. There's not a Ren that exists that hasn't. You know what I
That's
mean?
true. Not that we
I'm
know.
I'm
Alternate universe.
Yeah, but the thing is because there's not a Ren that hasn't. It just comes down to a decision, and if I decide that yes. And if I decide that yes, then it justifies all the crap that I went through.
Yes.
So I might as well decide that yeah, all of these things that I went through helped me become a better artist. Because if I decide that, then it's not just this pointless, insidious thing that was for nothing.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
if it is that, then it's a lot easier to feel bitter about it. It's a lot easier to feel kind of bitter, angry at the world, or
Yeah.
at dis-ease with spirituality, or anything like that. So,
I used it for 20 minutes per day for
Yeah, he's definitely breaking that down well. He definitely came a long way, even just like I could tell within himself to even get where he's at. Because yeah, a lot of people would just break. It's not easy to want to do something you love and you can't because you're held back. But it kind of goes back into what I said about Chronicles of Narnia. The whole time they were because when they went through that wardrobe, they like literally grew up in Narnia after that. It was crazy. They were adults, they were kings and queens, and then they just happened to be on some hike and ended up back right where they started off as kids again. So and they were in the regular world for a year, and that whole time they just if I was pretty much they was missing Narnia, imagining what they could be obviously what they could be doing in Narnia, all these things. But all I know is there's a lesson to be learned from all of it. So when he's because music is his Narnia. If you guys get what I'm trying to say, music is his Narnia, and when he's not able to do that, it's almost like he has to deal. He has to be back in that real world again, and dealing with that. And then it's like when he gets that breakthrough to be able to do music, it's like he walked through that wardrobe or something again, and he's back in Narnia. But I'm gonna actually I'll probably play 2 more minutes, let him kind of wrap up what he's saying, and I'll end it there for now. Oh, let me kind of.
loads of things that don't really have a clear answer. So I would always try and decide the one that helps me and not hinders me.
Man, you're saying some good stuff. I hope people are listening and paying attention because you are 100% right. A lot of those things are hypothetical. And please know when I ask that, it's not to in any way take away from all the hard work you put in. I think you summarize it very well in that it boils down to a decision. Because if people were to take other life stories and go, well, if I had to go through this or I had this, then, it's an excuse, right? We look at alternate options in life and we decide based on that what should have, would have, could have been. All you have is your experience. Absolutely, that makes sense.
So that's a perfect place to just end it right there before they move on. And man, Ren, he explains things like if I didn't know Ren and his situation, I wouldn't know, and that just goes to show, you never know what the next person's going through, just because we see people do amazing things, you still don't know what goes on in their personal life. And the way he answers questions with such clarity, with such intelligence, it's very professional to me, and very amazing and impressive to me. Her interview is her from an interviewer's perspective is also incredible too, very professional, and you could tell she's just trying to get that, make sure she gets that energy going the right way. So shout out to Ren and shout out to Rosalie. uh yeah, that's interviews are pretty cool. I'm not even gonna lie, definitely something I would do in the near future. I gotta hit at least 50K subscribers on my channel though before I even, I like to earn things. I like to earn things. I'm not there yet, but we'll keep building. But with that being said, if you guys, I'm gonna leave it to you guys in the comments if you guys want more. If this video does pretty good and you guys in the comments say, hey, we want you to finish it, and and I see enough of those, then yeah, I'll continue, for sure. But with that being said, guys, original link in the description. Definitely go binge watch my Ren playlist, and I'll be back more soon. Much love.